Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So Manchester United are in talks over bringing Edinson Cavani in on a free transfer. And we are willing to offer him a 2-year contract worth £200,000 a week. Edinson Cavani left PSG earlier on in the summer. Edinson Cavani did endure 7 years with PSG. He scored 200 goals in 301 appearances in all competitions. And during his time at PSG, he won 6 Liga 1 titles. He won 4 French Cups and 5 French League Cups. And I think PSG did actually get him in 2013 from Napoli for around €64 million. He is the age of 33. So that's the breaking news on him. Now, I want to delve into some more news on Jadon Sancho. So, according to Simon Stone, who's obviously from the BBC, he said that Manchester United have had another bid turned down for Jadon Sancho. Sky Sports reported out yesterday saying that we had a £91.3 million bid turned down from Dortmund for Sancho. So we offered £73 million up front with £18 million in add-ons. Dortmund will only let Jadon Sancho go if their £108 million valuation is met. I think £108 million is too much for Sancho. Throughout the course of this Jadon Sancho transfer saga, it has been Borussia Dortmund's asking price that has been the stumbling block, because we've not been determined to meet what they're demanding. But the bid we put in yesterday would have obviously made Jadon Sancho our most expensive signing. I believe that Sancho has agreed personal terms with the club and has agreed a 5-year contract worth around 340 grand a week. Now, Sancho has been left out of Borussia Dortmund's squad for their game tonight against Bayern Munich in the German Super Cup. Marco Reus recently said that Sancho will stay at Dortmund for 1 more year. He's saying the exact same thing as what Sebastian Kehl said, Borussia Dortmund's head of football, because he said that Sancho won't be leaving this summer. And he said he will stay. And he said Man United won't get him in a cut price deal. Borussia Dortmund's boss, Lucien Favre, he said quite a few weeks ago that Sancho will be staying at Dortmund. And Michael Zorg, who's Borussia Dortmund's sporting director, he also said Sancho is staying and the decision is final. But Solskjaer has held several talks with Sancho. And I think Sancho has told Solskjaer that, he wants to come to Manchester United. But he is our number 1 priority target, and Solskjaer's been very infuriated over the Jadon Sancho transfer saga, because it has gone on for a while now. We must have been in for him for like the last 3 years. Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist, he's spoken about the Jadon Sancho transfer saga quite a few times. Christian Falk, he's also spoken about it. But if we don't get him this week, we may never ever sign the player, because next year I presume we'll face more competition for him. There's still a chance, Sancho could come to Manchester United. I'm not going to fully disregard it, but around 5 weeks ago now, Jadon Sancho to Manchester United looked dead in the water. Because in August, Borussia Dortmund said that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We obviously missed out on that deadline, so Sancho went out on pre-season. And it also mentioned that we'd abandoned our chase for the player until next summer. But I've already outlined the reasons why I want Manchester United to sign him. Sancho has endured 3 good years with Borussia Dortmund. He's still got a contract with Dortmund until 2022. Don't forget, Dortmund got him for next to nothing. They only paid £8 million him from Man City. He enjoyed a couple of years at Man City, but the main explanation why he left Manchester City is because he didn't get assured any first team opportunities. Before he was at City, he was at Watford. And obviously Sancho will be our next number 7 if he comes in, because he'd full number 7 well, and at this present time we have got number 7 vacant. But like I mentioned on my video I did earlier on today, we have been looking at quite a lot of alternatives now to Sancho, and one of those alternatives is Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. Now, Sky Sports have just said that Man United are in talks with Barcelona over getting Ousmane Dembele on loan. The AS said yesterday that Ousmane Dembele was close to signing for Manchester United and he would cost us in the region of around £50 million, but he's a cheaper solution than Sancho. Barcelona said that they are determined to cash in on the player so they can fund a move for Memphis Depay. But I think Ousmane Dembele has come out and said that he wants to stay at Barcelona and fight for his place. Ousmane Dembele has endured a difficult time, at Barcelona. He's been there quite a few years now. He's injury prone. That's my element of concern about him. Ousmane Dembele is still under contract with Barcelona until 2022. Barcelona did get him for around £135 million from Dortmund in 2017. Barca paid like 90 odd million up front, and I think there was around 14 million in add-ons. But I thought Ousmane Dembele was very, very good at Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, before he was at Borussia Dortmund, he was at Rennes. He is the age of 23. Ousmane Dembele can play on the left, and he can also play on the right flank, and he can also play as a striker. Barcelona have let a couple of players go. They let Luis Suarez go. They let Arturo Vidal go. There's rumours of Coutinho leaving them. There's been rumours of possibly Antoine Griezmann leaving them. So yeah, another one of the alternatives we've been looking at is Ivan Perisic. We've also been looking at Douglas Costa. We've been looking at Anselmi Fati Vieira. We've looked at David Brooks before. We've also looked at Rabbi Matondo. We've recently been looking at Ismail Assar from Watford. It recently said that Dortmund were interested in Ismail Assar. Ismail Assar has been in the Premier League now around, a year? Because Watford did get him last year from Rennes for around £30 million. And he has got a contract with Watford until 2024. Ismail Assar is available for around £40 million, but again, cheaper than Sancho. So that's the breaking news on that. Now, I'm going to give you my starting 11 prediction for the game tonight in the Carabao Cup 4th round against Brighton. I've already given you my preview. I gave you my preview yesterday night. So like I mentioned, Solskjaer will make changes from the win against Brighton on Saturday. I think that Dean Henderson will start in goal. Don't forget, Dean Henderson in the 3rd round against Luton made his full debut for the club. I've already said I think Solskjaer should put Dean Henderson as number 1. Because I think now Dean Henderson is reliable enough to become our number 1 goalkeeper. Dean Henderson has now got that experience behind him. He recently endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. We got Dean Henderson at the age of 14, so he has been part of the club for several years now. Quite a few weeks ago, he signed a 6-year deal with Man United worth 120 grand a week. But Solskjaer's already made his goalkeeping decision. I think he's going to keep David De Gea as number 1 for at least this season. But like I said, Henderson will play in the cup games. At right back, I think we will go with Wan-Bissaka. Well, we've got a few options at right back, don't forget. Timothy Fosu-Mensah, we could even start him tonight instead of Wan-Bissaka. But I just think, we will start Wan-Bissaka anyway. This is Wan-Bissaka's second season at Manchester United. And I just think he's got to improve his attacking intent, because that's what he's really lacking at the moment. But I think his defensive contribution's always been very, very good. You know, we got Wan-Bissaka in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace last summer. Also to Diego Dalot, he's another option at right back, but I think Diego Dalot's going to be leaving Manchester United. He's being linked to a move to AC Milan. Now, I think the centre-halves, we will go with Eric Bailly and Harry Maguire. Bailly will come in for Victor Lindelof. I think, you know, Bailly is a better centre-half than Victor Lindelof, but my only element of concern about Eric Bailly is that he is injury-prone. So he's got to improve his fitness. Bailly has endured around 4 years with Manchester United. You know, we got him from Villarreal back in 2016 for around £30 million. Lindelof's been very, very inconsistent in a lot of games for Manchester United. Don't forget, in the opening day defeat to Crystal Palace in the league, he was accountable for all 3 goals. But despite his inconsistency, I still think Victor Lindelof will stay at Manchester United for at least this season. You know, Victor Lindelof's been at the club now for quite a few years. We did get him from Benfica back in 2017 for £30 million. Harry Maguire. There's still aspects of his game that I've got to improve. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made his decision that Harry Maguire will remain Manchester United captain this season. As it stands at the moment, Harry Maguire is the second most expensive signing at the club and the most expensive centre-half in the world. Left back, I think we will go with Brandon Williams. Don't forget, Brandon Williams wears the number 33 shirt. He's the first Manchester United player to wear the number 33 since Paddy McNair. And not so long ago, Brandon Williams signed a 4-year contract with the football club. Last season was Brandon Williams' first season in our senior squad. You know, made his senior debut against Rochdale in the EFL Cup. Made his first league start against Brighton. But played a lot of games last season, did Williams. I think that was due to the couple of injuries, though, that Luke Shaw had. The 2 holding midfielders, I think we will go with Fred and McTominay. Fred, I think he's really, really improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I think he looks more mobile now. His passing has improved. And Fred has definitely confounded his critics wrong, because under the Jose Mourinho era, he did receive a lot of criticism, did Fred. But under the Jose Mourinho era, he never really got his opportunities, did he? He's been at the club a few years now, you know, paid £52 million for Fred from Shakhtar Donetsk. A few weeks ago, there was rumours of Fred possibly leaving the football club. You know, Galatasaray were in for him, Roma were interested in him, but Fred had come out and said, you know, that he wants to stay at Manchester United and he wants to be an essential player and win trophies for the club. Fred's found game time very difficult since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes. Scott McTominay, I think there's still aspects of his game that I've got to improve, but I still believe he's the foreseeable future for Man United. I think he's actually now our first choice holding midfielder. Just after the first lockdown, McTominay had signed a 5-year contract with Manchester United. Last season, don't forget, he had that ankle injury. We could even go with Matic as well. You know, we could go with Fred Matic or McTominay Matic. You know, but I think it'll be Fred and McTominay. I think Donny van der Beek, he will play. I think Donny van der Beek has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Did well in our 1-0 defeat to Aston Villa in pre-season. Did well in the Crystal Palace loss, came on and scored on his Premier League debut. Did well in the last round against Luton, and also did well at the weekend when he came on. We got Donny van de Beek in a deal worth £40 million from Ajax. He signed a 5-year deal with the club with an option of a further year, and we know that he wears that number 34 shirt, Donny van de Beek, so he is a good signing. Now, I think on the left-hand side, we will go with Daniel James. If we don't start Daniel James, I think we'll start Lingard on that left-hand side, but I think we'll go with Daniel James. Now, Daniel James is another player that's been linked with a move away from the football club. Leeds United have recently expressed their interest. Leeds have inquired about getting Daniel James on loan. It said not so long ago that Leeds were preparing to put around the £12 million bidding for him. Don't forget, back in January 2019, Leeds United came very, very close to getting Daniel James. Everything had been agreed, but right at the final hurdle, Swansea had pulled out. So obviously we got Daniel James in June last year for around £18 million. Now Dan James did recently say that he wants to stay at Manchester United and fight for his place. He played a lot of games last season, to be fair, Daniel James. It was just towards the end of last season he was finding game time difficult. When Daniel James did sign for the club, he signed a 5-year deal with an option of a further year. And on the right-hand side, I think we will go with Juan Mata. Juan Mata was very, very good in the last round against Luton. Don't forget he did get his name on the score sheet from the penalty spot. And I know now that Juan Mata doesn't get a lot of chances as a Manchester United player, but when he does make an impact. Juan Mata, I think, has had a good career at Manchester United. I think he's enjoyed around 6 years or something with the club. We got him from Chelsea back in 2014 for just under £40 million. Juan Mata. And he'll stay at the club for at least this season. And I think up top we will go with Odion Ighalo. And to be honest with you, I've been impressed with Odion Ighalo since he came to the club. We got him on deadline day in January. The main explanation why we got him in, because we needed a cover up to Marcus Rashford at that point. And Ighalo was our top goal scorer in the FA Cup last season. And I think it was just after the first lockdown, we'd extended Odion Ighalo's loan until January 2021. So this is how I think Manchester United are going to line up tonight against Brighton. We're going to rest, obviously, a few players. Luke Shaw will obviously be rested. Like I said, Luke Shaw's just recently recovered from an ankle injury. Luke Shaw's obviously enjoyed around 6 years at the football club. He's improved under Solskjaer, don't get me wrong. We got him back in 2014 from Southampton for around £30 million. Like I mentioned, De Gea, he'll be dropped. De Gea will stay at Manchester United for another season at least. We could possibly sell him next summer. We'd still get more than the £18 million that we paid for him from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. This is David De Gea's 10th season now at Manchester United. I think he's had around 7 good years, because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on his calamitous mistakes. But David De Gea has still won everything domestically at the football club, and he has won individual awards reflecting on his good run of performances. De Gea has made over 400 appearances for Man United in all competitions. 300 odd of those appearances have come in the Premier League. But when De Gea does leave, I think he will go back to Spain, like I've mentioned before. Like I mentioned, Lindelof will be dropped. Marcus Rashford, he won't start the game. He could, some of these could possibly be involved, but they won't start. Marcus Rashford, I don't think he'll start. Rashford didn't start the game against Luton in the last round, but he came on and obviously got his name on the score sheet. I think Rashford has really improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Don't forget, not so long ago, Marcus Rashford just recently recovered from an ankle injury. He had a back injury for us last season when he was out for a couple of months. But Rashford must have been at the club now around 15 years because he's been a United player since the age of 7. He's been in our senior squad since 2016 and since then has become an integral part of our team as Marcus Rashford. And obviously now we know that he plays on that left-hand side. Mason Greenwood, he could be involved tonight, but I don't think he'll start the game. Like I said, Mason Greenwood scored in the previous round against Luton. Mason Greenwood is definitely the foreseeable future for Manchester United. Don't forget, before this season started, well, our season started, we had a few issues with Mason Greenwood, didn't we? And I think Solskjaer held private negotiations with Mason Greenwood, regarding his private life. Mason Greenwood does now wear the number 11. He's the 4th Manchester United player to wear the number 11. I think last season Mason Greenwood wore the number 26. Bruno Fernandes, he won't start the game. I don't think anyway. I think in a lot of games, Bruno Fernandes has made an impact for Manchester United. There's been a couple of games where he has lacked that composure and he's looked a bit off the boil. But prior to that, he's done very well. I think last season, won some Matt Busby Player of the Season, was it? Reflects on his good performances. And I think he must have won Premier League Player of the Month around 3 times, is it? Reflects on his good performances. We got Bruno Fernandes in a deal worth £55 million from Sporting Lisbon back in January. But you've got to say he has made the difference in the team. Paul Pogba, he won't start the game tonight, I don't think. Don't know if he'll be involved, but I don't think he'll start. Let's be honest, Paul Pogba hasn't had a good start to the season, has he? He hasn't had a good start to the season. Because he was very poor in the 3-1 loss to Palace on the opening day. Lost the ball too many times. Did have a couple of shots outside the box. Don't think he was good against Brighton at the weekend either. Looked far too exposed. But I thought towards the end of last season, Paul Pogba did very well. Because his combination with Bruno Fernandes was very good. And some people don't think Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes can play in the same team. I probably think that Paul Pogba will stay at Manchester United for at least another season. There has still been uncertainty though regarding his future. We are looking to get him a long-term contract to end the uncertainty over his future, because as it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. Now, Mini Raiola, his agent, said quite a few weeks ago now, I think I updated you on it, he said that Paul Pogba will stay at Man United and he will hold talks over a new contract. Said a few weeks before the end of last season that Pogba was close to signing a 5-year deal with Man United. But as it stands at the moment, it is our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him. Anthony Martial, I don't think he'll start tonight. He could possibly start, but I don't think he will. I think Martial has really improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Last season, Anthony Martial was absolutely exceptional. I thought Martial was very good in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. Martial's enjoyed quite a few years now with the football club. We paid around £36 million in from Monaco back in 2015. For the vast majority of his career at Man United, he's obviously played out wide because that's his predominant position. But obviously now he plays in that number 9 role. He plays centrally because he's very effective in that central position. So there you go. But yeah, this is the second time we are playing Brighton in 4 days. And we are looking to beat them for the second time in a row this season. We beat them in the league at the weekend by 3-2. You can say we really rode our luck in that game. Brighton were the much better team in that game. You know, Trossard hit the post around 3 times, and I think in total in the game, Brighton hit the woodwork around 5 times. Solly March also hit the inside of the post. But obviously, you know, the goals came from Maupay. He scored from the penalty spot. You know, Bruno Fernandes was the one that fouled Tariq Lamptey to give the penalty away. Obviously, you know, equaliser came through a Lewis Dunk own goal. Came from a Bruno Fernandes set piece. Maguire played a part in, you know, Lewis Dunk scoring that own goal for us, to be fair. Then obviously, you know, went 2-1 up with Marcus Rashford. Bruno Fernandes got the assist. That was Rashford's first goal of the Premier League season for Man United. Rashford also had a goal disallowed. I want to mention Greenwood also had a goal disallowed. Then in the 95th minute, Solly March equalised. And actually, no, then the game had ended 2-2. But then a penalty had been given after the whistle had gone because Harry Maguire had headed it. It hit Maupay's hand. And VAR intervened and gave the penalty, and Bruno Fernandes scored the penalty in the 100th minute of the game. That was our first league win of the season. But Brighton haven't had a bad start to the season, to be honest with you. They was unlucky to lose to us at the weekend. They was unlucky to lose their opening game against Chelsea. I think Brighton have got a couple of injuries I want to update you on. I think the only injuries they've got is Jose Izquierdo. They've got Christian Walton out. And they've got Florin Andon out. And I think Bissau Uma is still suspended for them. But Aaron Connolly, he's a good player for Brighton. He's just recently come back from injury not so long ago. Tariq Lamptey is a very good player for them. He's just come back from injury not so long ago. Dale Stevens have let him go. He went to Burnley, but he was injured recently. So recently, you know, Brighton have had a few injuries. Glenn Murray, he's also a good player for them. Maupay, like I mentioned, he's good. Trossard seems very good. They've got Adam Lallana, who they got from Liverpool not so long ago. They've got Ben White. He recently signed a new deal with Brighton, don't forget. They've got Lewis Dunk, pretty good centre-half. Matty Ryan isn't a bad goalkeeper for them. You know, Pascal Gross, he's quite good. Alexis McAllister, he's also quite good. But we're expected to win this game tonight. Brighton progressed to the 4th round of the Carabao Cup by obviously beating Preston in the previous round 2-0. And before that, they beat Portsmouth. Was it 4-0 if I'm right? Yeah, I think it was 4-0 to beat Portsmouth. And Brighton's current manager is Graham Potter. You know, Brighton, I think, is the 3rd club in his managerial career because before he was at Brighton, he was at Swansea. And before he was at Swansea, he was at Östersund. The recent managers they've had before Graham Potter was Chris Hughton. They had Nathan Jones, and they also had Sami Hyypiä in Brighton. But the Carabao Cup is definitely a priority for Manchester United because I said it's very, very important that we win a trophy this season. That's one of our expectations because we've not yet won out in terms of silverware under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. And we haven't won a trophy for over 3 years. And we haven't won the Carabao Cup since 2017. We have won it 5 times because we won it on 4 occasions under the Sir Alex Ferguson era. The FA Cup, you know, it's another trophy, you know, we can go in for. But we won't win the Champions League, obviously, because we're not good enough to win that yet. You know, we won't win the Premier League, we're not good enough to win that. We must be around 3 or 4 years off from winning the Premier League title at least. But like I've mentioned to you, you know, this is the final week of the transfer window. And we're hoping to make a couple of more signings because as it stands at the moment, we have only made 1 signing. And that was Donny van der Beek from Ajax. But Solskjaer said he wants to make 3 more signings after Donny van der Beek. But the board are to blame, aren't they, you know, of the lack of transfer activity. But we've been critical of the board anyway for several years. Reflects on how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've overpaid for players. The managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't been backed enough, don't forget. And we've made a lot of mistakes in the last 7 years. And Solskjaer's publicly admitted that Manchester United have got to spend money. Departures have been proven to be difficult for Man United for a while, but we could actually sell up to 7 players this week. The most recent player that's just left us was Andres Pereira, because he obviously went to Lazio on a 1-season loan, didn't he? So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.